Imagine you're a beast of a trader. You've got a 95% win rate. 95% of your trades go well, make money. And that's maybe because you're an insider, right? You're very deeply involved in all kinds of projects. You know exactly what's going on. You've got information that other people don't have. And let's assume that nobody catches you. You simply can execute on all your trades. And you've got a 95% win rate. If you are in that position, it is still possible to completely screw it all up. And the reason for that is a topic that's not very sexy on YouTube, but that I talk about very, very often in the premium membership. That topic is risk management. Imagine you bet the entire portfolio. You've got a super high likelihood of winning, and maybe you double your portfolio. And you do it again, and you double it again. And you do it again, and you double it again. And it works pretty much all the time, except in those 5% where it doesn't, where you then lose pretty much everything, where you go down by, say, 99%. All the doubling doesn't help when in the one trade you're losing it all. So it's not a sexy topic, but it's a highly, highly important topic. If you don't know how to manage your risk, then you can be the best trader in the world, you can have the highest win rate in the world, you will still ruin yourself. We have a very high risk of ruin. So that's a technical term in statistics. I learned this concept actually not in trading. I learned this concept in online poker around 15 years ago, I believe it is now. I used to play online poker professionally. So I played on PokerStars, I grinded short stack strategy, played 12, 16 tables at the same time, did 1 to 2 million hands per year, became a supernova elite status. I did a ton of playing. I did like 70, 80 hours of poker playing every week, and I played mainly in Gibraltar. So I was living in Hong Kong and in Gibraltar, and I did this for a living, right? I paid my study fees in Germany with this. I paid my study fees in Hong Kong with this. I did this for a living, and I learned online from other professional players how to manage risk. And the most straightforward rule that beginners should be using is you need to have at least 30 buy-ins. So you've got something called bankroll management in poker. And when you enter a game, you have to put in a buy-in, right? So for cash games, that's maybe 100 big blinds. You should have a bankroll of at least 30 buy-ins. So that's, in this case, 3,000 big blinds. So if you want to play a game of $0.50, $1, you should have a bankroll of at least $3,000. If you want to play $1, $2, right? So the big blind is $2, you need to have at least $6,000. So this is how it works in poker, right? You never have 100% winning chance if you're not at the river. So you put in your double aces pre-flop. Everybody is all in. Let's say you are head-to-head against somebody else. You've got your double aces pre-flop. You still don't have a 100% chance of winning. You only have a roughly 80% chance of winning. So that's kind of comparable with our 95% trader, right? You never have 100% in trading. You can skill up a lot. You can put the odds in your favor, but you never have 100%. Because you don't have 100%, you need to take account for the cases where you don't win. And you need to look at how much are you actually losing when you don't win. Now in poker, you tend to lose everything, right? When you're all in with your hand and your opponent wins, your buy-in is lost. And so you have to have 30 buy-ins. When you're trading, that's not necessarily the case. And this is the first approach to thinking about how big should our betting size in trading actually be. Should we bet the entire portfolio? We've already established that's a bad idea, right? Your win rate can be super high. The entire portfolio is a bad idea. How high should the betting size be? Half of the portfolio? 10% of the portfolio? 5% of the portfolio? What makes actually sense? I think this depends on various variables. The first most obvious variable is the liquidity / your stop loss. So if you've got a very liquid asset and you're using tight stop losses, you can of course be more aggressive on the percentage that you're betting.
This needs to go to 1 million or March buyers now will make millions. This is how you get the clicks on YouTube, but this is not how you beat the market. To beat the market in crypto, you need to be better informed than the rest. You need to be better skilled than the rest. You need to do better blockchain analytics. You need to track other people's wallets and know what is the smart money doing. It's the boring educational content that forms skill that doesn't perform so well on YouTube though. That's why I created the premium membership. Feel free to check it out. We are tracking influencer wallets to find out what they are buying before promoting promoting this on YouTube. We've got a lot of tutorials to help with on-chain analytics, to help with wallet discovery. And of course, there are also plenty of chats where we help each other and also one-on-one conversations with me. So I'm messaging every premium member one-on-one directly. Once you're joining, you will get a message from me and you have the opportunity to directly pick my brain. Feel free to check it out. thebitcointrader.com, link is down below.
So let's say as a hard rule, you would always exit a position after a drop of 10%. Then you could, in theory, bet 10 times the amount compared to the person that never cuts losses. It also makes sense to consider the volatility of the asset, right? Is the asset just moving a little bit or is it moving a lot? If an asset is very, very low in market cap and it tends to move a lot up and down, then you have to bet less compared to the assets that only move a little bit, right? Because it impacts how much your portfolio as a whole fluctuates. So let's say in poker where you can lose everything, right, 100%, and you need to have 30 buy-ins. Let's say you put your stop loss at something reasonable, say 20%, then you can have only 6 buy-ins. Thus, the maximum we should be betting on a single position is 100% divided by 6. That's 16.7 or 16.66%. So that's just a rough gauge. This gives us a rough idea of how much we should be betting. But there's different considerations here, right? There's also your risk tolerance. The risk tolerance very much depends on how much fluctuation you can endure. So that's not just psychological, there's actually also hard facts to consider. You have to consider, for example, how high currently your net worth or your portfolio is relative to your income. If your crypto portfolio is only worth 2 months of your income, then it's not really a big deal if you drop, say, by 30% in your portfolio, right? You can simply just save a little bit more in the next 1 or 2 months and you've already recovered your entire portfolio. However, if you've got 3, 4, 5 years of your income saved up and it's all in crypto, and now that portfolio goes down by 50%, now you've got a problem just recouping this with general work. So there's a real valid tendency to get exposed to less and less volatility as your net worth grows relative to your income, because net worth in general tends to grow faster than income because we're saving, right? That's the whole idea. So we don't have to get overly scientific with this, right? We already have a benchmark with those 16%. I personally don't bet more than 25% on any single crypto investment. I do let it run, of course, when it goes up, but even when it goes up, I don't want to have more than 35% in any single altcoin. For Bitcoin, that's different, right? I regard Bitcoin as the benchmark, but for an individual altcoin position, I never want to have more than 35% of my crypto portfolio in that altcoin, and I only start off with 25%. The other extreme is the lower end, right? How small can a bet potentially be? And I don't want to have a bet that's smaller than 5% of my portfolio. I want to start out with 10% minimum. If it goes down to 5%, that's fine. At the 5%, I have to decide for myself, do I want to buy more or do I want to exit this position? But once a position is less than 5% of the overall portfolio, then the impact on the overall portfolio isn't really that high. And then we've got all of that mental capacity still tied up in this one investment. So it doesn't really make sense to hold those 5%, in my opinion. So I want to have the right kind of diversification. I want to be concentrated enough to make a good gain in case I'm right, but I also don't want to lose everything in case I'm wrong. And I also don't want to bet that little that in case I am right, it doesn't really make a difference. So there is a balance to be made here. And for me, that's at 5% for the very lowest end. I enter with minimum 10%. And that's at 35% for the highest end. And I enter with maximum 25%. That's the range that I personally use. That's what I believe makes a lot of sense if you want to keep your risk of ruin low, but still optimize returns. As said, I don't talk about these kind of topics very often on YouTube. They're not very sexy. I had to really think about an idea, about a story, how to sell this at the beginning of this video. I'm way more technical in the premium membership. I'm talking about the non-sexy skill developing topics though in premium. So if you find these kind of things interesting, feel free to check it out. It's down below. It's thebitcoinstrader.com. Looking forward to seeing you there. There's more than 100 tutorials, also with illustrations, not just where I'm talking like this, but we actually look into the nitty-gritty technical details. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to also give this a like. It helps the channel grow. If it's first time here, feel free to subscribe. Last but not least, there's also a free Telegram in case you don't want to pay for premium. There's also a free Telegram. Link is as well down below. Looking forward to seeing you there. Cheers.